Hello everyone! Now for my last video in this mini-series about fresh scents, I hope I won't make a fool of myself because we are going to talk about Ganymede, the Extrait. I haven't smelled this since I received it some time ago, this small sample. However, why I say this is because as I know and love Ganymede, Ganymede is a fresh scent. To me, it will always be a fresh scent, no matter how leathery and mineral and ozonic and aquatic and everything but the kitchen sink. You know, it's those multifaceted things that make Ganymede so beautiful and so unique and so complex. But it is a fresh scent in my opinion. However, I have a feeling that this Extrait will be not so fresh. But you know, it doesn't matter. We're still going to smell it, and I'm still going to give you my impressions on it because I am quite curious. This was launched this year. It's a new launch, and it was done by Quentin Bisch for Marc-Antoine Barrois. Just like Ganymede and just like the other fragrances from this wonderful little, because it's not a perfume house, it's a designer house, but the small number of fragrances that they have, Ganymede, it's Encelade, the Extrait from Ganymede, and the other one, because it's the B683, I don't know, I will never remember those numbers, and it's Extrait. All of them, I think they are very, very good fragrances. And from this house, I only have Ganymede because I think it's the most interesting one. And this is why the Extrait, which I have spritzed already before the video here, in order to maybe get to the middle of the fragrance, because I know it's an Extrait and I know it will take its sweet time getting to the interesting part. So yeah, let's see how this smells. Well, it's definitely spicier than the original Ganymede, and I want to say, I have to wonder, why did we need an Extrait? And I already know the answer to this, but why did we need the Extrait to a fragrance to Ganymede, who is already so potent, and it lasts you, I don't know, for weeks on clothing. It can stay there for weeks. God forbid you spritz it anywhere on objects. It will never it will never leave you. The answer is because when you have a talented perfumer like Quentin Bisch, the Extrait is a scent in its, you know, it's not a flanker, it's a scent, it's a different interpretation of Ganymede, and it is good. What I'm smelling here is quite interesting. It's darker and spicier, and I want to say more vetivery. And it's that mineral aspect that Ganymede has. I described that aspect as a combination between, you know, metalwork, a forge. You know, I was about to say forgery, but that's not the correct term. You know, a forge, metalwork, smithing. It's heated metal combined with running water, and just this ozonic thing, this airy thing, which is a reaction byproduct that kind of escapes the whole process. You know, you're cooling off a burning, a molten metal. You're cooling it off using water, and the vapor that rises is the ozonic notes that you can just, everything is just amped up here. It's quite beautiful. And there's a spiciness to it that almost, it's like a mechanical sensation that kind of, you can feel it in your nostrils. Just to give you an example, when I'm smelling Interlude Man, and the burning embers and the smoke, kind of, it's the same thing. They can kind of make my eyes water just a bit. It's a mechanical sensation, and kudos to them, for this is a beautiful aspect to have in a fragrance. It's something more than the sense of smell. It's almost the sense of touch, and yeah, it's a very good thing. But also there is that underlying freshness, because it's a citrus freshness. It's almost like the skin of an orange or a tangerine, right? It's citrusy. It's not very defined. It's pretty abstract. Very, very well blended. I would never call Ganymede a citrus scent, but it's just the idea of, it makes it perfumey, it makes it wearable, it makes it very easy to like, and it's still there. So this is Ganymede. It's still Ganymede, but with, everything amped up, denser, and it does feel like a different scent. Now, Ganymede itself is quite similar to B683. Ganymede and B683 are kin. They are very, very related in terms of scent. B683 is a lot sweeter. I wonder if I have B683 with me. Okay, I went and I found B683, and I also found this empty sample of Ganymede, which I'm not sure we could use, but it's still good to have here. So, this settled quite nicely. The Ganymede Extrait is settled quite nicely. It is, as I said, it's a denser Ganymede with all of the aspects that I happen to love, just amped to the max. There is, however, fruity spiciness to this, which I don't know where it comes from. Could it be? So it's definitely peppery. It's a peppery, dusty sort of spiciness, and the fruitiness is from it's the same thing you can smell in Encelade. It's the vetiver sort of sweetness. It's fruity sweetness from the vetiver, which it might remind me of a bell pepper that's very watery when you break it apart. It's that sort of fruitiness, but it's not the spicy type. So it's peppery and bell pepper, which is very interesting. Fruity spicy. Yeah, okay. While this settles even more, let's spritz a bit of the, maybe I can spritz something out of this Ganymede to the regular. Maybe I'm lucky. But it doesn't see, it, just a bit. Such a powerful scent that you don't need much. Okay. Yeah, well, see, this is a lot different. It's the same idea of the fragrance, but this is how I remember. This is even fruitier. This is even more citrusy, and this is a lighter. This is it's the leather. you can feel the leather a lot better in this, just because it contrasts a lot better. In the X-ray, all the aspects are kind of denser and kind of mushed together in this sort of agglutination of heavy things. By the way, the inspiration for Ganymede is Jupiter's moon, which I read today that it has a metal core. So there you go, good inspiration, Quentin Bisch. And for B683, the inspiration is again a cosmic inspiration, celestial inspiration, but it's fictional. It's the asteroid for from The Little Prince. This is B683, and again, sister fragrances, brother fragrances, kin with Ganymede, but this one is smokier. This one is darker than Ganymede. Ganymede shines like light. Ganymede reflects sheens of light in that metal form. It's very polished. It's very, now 683 is a lot darker. It reminds me of the darker resinous, more resinous scents from Merchant of Venice. I've smelt this before. I never got it, just because I found it a bit more common-ish. I mean, you can still find smells like this, as I said, out there a lot easier. Although the main idea of mineral, smoky, almost molten, this is a smoldering asteroid, which is very interesting. A more resinous, a smoldering, ambery asteroid. The main idea you can find between Ganymede and B63, and this is also, I think it goes, B683 goes into the realm of oud rose scents, which is, well, as I said, they're very nice, but you know, nothing to write home about. But I think where Quentin Bisch for Marc-Antoine Barrois really struck gold is with Ganymede. This is my thoughts on the matter. I think Ganymede truly stands out as a unique blend of mineral scents. And speaking about mineral scents and scents inspired by chemical elements, pretty soonish, one of these days, I will film a very interesting house of niche fragrances, which is called, it was called Newbie, or one of those. So stay tuned for that. Maybe tomorrow I'll be able to film them, because just now I filmed five videos, so my nose is shot dead. But those, keep in mind, for those, if you're looking for chemical, mineral inspired scents, do watch out for that video. Or how many videos, because I got 5 of them. Anyway, back to Ganymede. Ganymede is very true to its inspiration. Like, it smells just like a celestial body, which is a thing I've never smelled, but we're using the imagination here, right? Because I don't think in my lifetime I will be able to smell something that comes from outer space. I wouldn't even be able to tell you if that even has a smell. But in terms of an imaginarium, this is exquisitely beautiful. The way it just blends leathery aspects, which, you know, the leathery aspect is supposed to remind us that it's the human element, it's the animal element, which is supposed to remind us that you're maybe the only one experiencing this loneliness, this other type of loneliness on a celestial body all alone, which is a beautiful imagery in itself. But also the leather kind of makes me want to go a bit steampunkish. When you kind of have this mixture between leather straps that kind of hold together metal parts. So in a steampunk universe where you kind of want to fashion a device that might help you travel to outer space. And it's funny because, and very interesting, the way that this fragrance kind of makes me want to think about traveling to outer space and to these celestial bodies, these satellites, these planets, because Ganymede is full planet-sized, even though it's a satellite. It's a moon of Jupiter's, and it's like the experience when you smell this fragrance. It's like experiencing the launch, right? The trembling parts of the spaceship, carrying you there. It's just like the heating metal that just exudes this ozonic, almost flame-like smell, which is very poetic and it's very beautiful. And I think that the Extrait is different enough for the fans of Ganymede. So if the fans of Ganymede should definitely should smell this this Extrait, and I think it warrants a different purchase. It costs 275 euros for, I think, 50 or 40 milliliters. If money is not an issue, go for it. I find it decently priced, although I'm not sure I'm going to go for it. It's a bit too much for me. It's just so dense. It's like you left the surface of the planet and you're burrowing deep in the earth and you're approaching the metal molten core of Ganymede, which is again very interesting. So now you're fashioning a device that has to drill through the crust to go to the it's a beautiful scent. I'm glad for Marc-Antoine Barrois, for this small perfume house. You could call it a perfume house by now, as well as being an haute couture house, because all of their fragrances are just so well done. And I'm happy for them. I'm happy for Quentin Bisch, because Quentin Bisch, I'm happy Quentin Bisch found this niche where he could go crazy and go very creative, and I think it suits him very well. And they're very good fragrances. And I know when I spoke about their other launch, which was Encelade, I found it a bit too redundant with the use of, because Encelade is mostly vetiver. It's very dense, sugary vetiver, syrupy vetiver, with an addition of cedar wood, which is basically E super to my nose. I hope I'm not mistaken. And I found it a bit redundant, because I already have so many vetivers, so many gorgeous vetivers out there. But it's still, I mean, if you don't have any other vetiver and would like to experience vetiver almost in its raw form, go for Encelade, which is again another Encelade is I think it's a satellite, a moon of Saturn, I think. Enceladus. Yeah. Okay, so I really enjoyed this trip into Ganymede and Marc-Antoine Barrois once again. If you have any other questions about any of Marc-Antoine Barrois' fragrances and Quentin Bisch's fragrances for Marc-Antoine Barrois, do let me know in the comments. And until next time, remember, fragrance creates memories, and may yours be happy.